Hello everyone, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the analysis of two products from Kellogg's. These products are going to be Kellogg's Fruit Loops as well as Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. Now for those kind of wondering about how this kind of came about and what inspired me to make such a thing is I originally watched a separate video a long time ago about failed marketing attempts in the 20th century and how advertisers portrayed their product in a bad light and it ended up seriously damaging their sales and ultimately led them to going under. So with this sort of thing in mind, I decided it would be kind of interesting to take a company's products and measure their sales across at least across the same geographical area, a few different stores, and see how the success of the two products could have possibly be helped by what the parent corporation did, separate from selling the physical boxes of cereal to the actual retailers. So for those who probably know, if you've seen my last video, the original website I got the data from is all the same. It is from the dunnhumby website, which gives a 150-week span of data on a wide variety of different transactions for many different products across retail stores in Ohio, Kentucky, as well as Texas. And for those wondering about how I did the data processing, it can all be seen through here, where I simply took the CSV file, filtered it by the MSA code to make sure it was filtered by the same geographical area. Then I made sure that it was all specifically gauged towards Cincinnati, as we can see here. I zipped all the separate files into specific zipped up dictionaries in order to get everything all nicely and neat onto one sheet. And then after that, I filtered by two very specific UPC numbers tied to each of the products in question. Then I saved it to a nice little CSV file, and that's how I was able to upload it to here. Now, back to the actual visualization. So for this first visualization, as we can see here, what we have is the two products represented, Kellogg's Fruit Loops in blue and Frosted Flakes in orange. Each dot represents how many sales that product got for a very specific week. You can also choose a town name or the store name to show which store this specifically targets. Now what's interesting about each and every store is that they actually have the same peaks for the most part, with the exception of Cincinnati. We can see around July across many of the stores is that there was a very odd peak with Fruit Loops being incredibly popular and being much more sold within this very specific time period relative to all the others. And we also see periods of massive growth for Frosted Flakes, but very, very specific to around 2009 to 2010, which I found incredibly unique. And because of this led me to the idea that as a corporation, Kellogg's might have tried and experimented with different methods of advertising, which might have spurred on the popularity of their products. And the reason I say this is because if we look at the fluctuations of price, specifically relative to how much the product was actually sold, it's interesting to see how during these time periods Fruit Loops was significantly more consistent and obviously had the overall better sales. Where we can see across many of the different stores, it was actually held at a threshold. And what we can see is that it either holds a low threshold or a high threshold, while if we look at Frosted Flakes, it seems to have much more of a high level of variability, a lot more variance. We can also see periods where it really dips down, especially after Fruit Loop's success, which I found incredibly interesting. And what's really more unique about these graphs is that despite these periods of high sales and incredibly successful sales growth, so if we look at Anderson Town Center specifically, you can see that the price dipped down significantly prior to that specific period. But what's interesting is that the price was just as low as April, but they only saw the sales in July, which I found that to be incredibly unique. for starters. And even at other points when it was that low, it only really saw that massive success. And we could see that displayed in the other graphs where it was just around that low at that time, with the exception of Walnut Hills, and still faced some pretty significant success. So thank you so much for giving me your time. I really appreciate it, and hope you guys enjoyed it.